Hey, what is going on guys? My name is EndingGamertag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video. Today's video is going to be revolved around editing fast on controller Fortnite. In fact, this is probably one of the main aspects that sets apart basically your average player from some of the above average and pro players. Unfortunately, playing on controller can limit your editing speed and overall efficiency. Today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to overcome that. We're basically going to be going over every single tip or trick that will allow you to basically improve your editing speed almost instantaneously. So this is going to be everything from the general settings you should be using, as well as basically little tricks and warm-ups that you guys can use every single day that will improve your speed and efficiency. So let's bring on the hand cam and let me discuss some of the things that I find to be kind of important in regards to what has helped me increase my speed. Firstly, you guys might notice I play on a claw grip, essentially meaning that I use my index finger to press my A, B, Y, and X buttons. Now this is definitely not a necessity to becoming a fast editor on controller. It definitely will help in my personal opinion in your overall speed and efficiency, but again, it isn't something that you need to do. In fact, a lot of really fast editors on controller do not play claw grip. If you guys like to learn how to play claw grip, there'll be a link at the top right of the screen right now. Next is actually going to be our settings, starting with the sensitivity settings. Basically, my build and edit mode sensitivity are both set to a 1.4 in terms of their multiplier. Now this is probably a lot lower than your own sensitivity multiplier, and the reason I'm able to edit fast and efficiently despite my low multipliers is because of my look stick dead zone. Now my look stick dead zone is actually currently set to a 10%, so it's basically double the speed of a regular dead zone setting. Now with this, it allows me to still have my quick and snappy movements with my right analog stick, which is basically what's used for pretty much everything in Fortnite, from editing to building to aim and accuracy. So despite the fact that I have low multipliers, this is what still allows me to keep up my general speed and efficiency. And the next is going to be the keybinds. Mine are pretty simple. I play on a custom builder pro. I use my Y button, which is triangle for PlayStation 4 controllers, for edit, my left analog stick clicked in for toggle pickaxe, and then lastly for my keybinds, my left trigger, which is L2 for PS4, is binded to confirm. So whenever I go to edit like a wall or whatever, I'll simply press my Y button to edit, my right trigger to select the tile, and left trigger to confirm it. It's actually a pretty simple sequence, very easy to get used to, and here it is at full speed. It's almost like instantaneous, and I'm willing to bet it's probably a lot faster than pretty much everyone that's watching today's video, just because I'm able to press my edit button and confirm it almost at the exact same time. So that's the settings that I find to be really important that will allow you to edit as fast as you possibly can. Now in terms of like my daily routine that I've been using for months and months on end that has allowed me to improve my speed every single day. When I first hop into Fortnite, I'll load into an empty creative map, as you guys can see. I will then place a wall and just do some general window edits. So I'll basically edit a window, reset the edit another window to the side of it, and continuously do this. I typically do this as slow as I possibly can just to get the muscle memory down, and then I'll gradually start to speed it up. I'll continuously do this, and if I feel like I'm making terrible edits and content errors, then I'll slow it down a little bit. And then of course I'll just go to a speed that I'm pretty satisfied with. And then I'll move to some 3-corner edits or 4-corner edits. These of course like the two main edits that we do in Fortnite. Whenever we go outside of a 1x1 box, or if we're trying to break into a player's 1x1, we'll do these edits constantly. So the same thing goes. I'll do corner edits pretty slowly and then gradually increase it. Obviously, if I'm doing terrible and making a lot of errors, I'll slow it down, and then once I reach a speed that I'm pretty content with, I will then move on. Sometimes I'll even put myself in an actual 1x1 box to kind of replicate an endgame scenario. After again I've done my corner and window edits, I'll then kind of do this little method that I've been doing for quite some time, where I run back and forth between the two walls in my 1x1. I'll reset the edit, do another edit, and just continuously go back and forth. And of course this is a warm-up technique, so obviously I've yet to play Fortnite for the entire day, so I am expecting to make errors when doing this little method. I mean, it goes without saying that it's going to happen. Eventually, obviously, the errors will begin to minimalize as you are warming up, and your brain does get used to the muscle memory. From here, I'm pretty much done with my warm-up. I will then now hop into my actual kind of method that I've been using that does allow me to increase my speed. So this is probably what I consider to be one of the most important aspects of today's video. Obviously, warming up is extremely important. Without warming up, you will pretty much be making errors left and right. But what I'm about to share with you guys next is probably what I would consider to be the main turning point that's allowed me to take my edits from slightly above average to way above average. So I'll go back to the hub on creative mode and I'll load this map that you guys will see on screen right now. This is a map that's actually created by another Fortnite YouTuber, and it's actually intended to allow people to practice and improve their editing speed and efficiency. So loading into this map, I always make my way over to this part right here where there's kind of like a line of walls. You guys can see from left it goes to the slow speed, then normal to fast. The two that I focus on are slow and normal. Of course we do want to start on slow. So basically when you run through the slow pad, it actually obviously slows down your speed when running. Basically, you just want to go ahead and edit basically through each and every single wall. You guys can do whatever edits you like. You can do 3 corner edits, 4 corner edits, door edits, maybe some unique edits as well just to try them out, because you never know when you might need to use them in Fortnite. So basically I'll just continuously go through all of these walls. Now obviously this won't increase your speed pretty much at all, but it is still focusing on that muscle memory. Muscle memory is extremely important when it comes to editing. In fact, that's probably like 90% of edits are due to muscle memory. Obviously players like Faceway that have such fast edits, they're pretty much due to muscle memory alone. So that's why I use the slow speed right there just to get the muscle memory down for all of these edits. I will then make my way over to the normal speed. And from here, I'll just edit every single wall. This is where we do focus on our general editing speed and efficiency. Now, at first, when you try this map out, basically it happens to everyone, especially happened to me when I first started using this map. I struggled quite a lot at this specific part of this entire edit map. I was constantly making errors back to back to back. In fact, I was probably making like errors on 90% of the walls. After about literally like 10 to 15 minutes of practicing, I then started to notice that my speed and efficiency was drastically improving and increasing. Obviously now a couple weeks and months in advance, I find that I'm making way less errors, very minimal errors while doing this edit course. Now basically I like to go through a full stack of walls, turn around and then do the next one. I'll basically do wall edits that I find to be very important or that I'm constantly doing in game. So corner edits, door edits, whether they be 3 corner edits or 4 corner edits, these are the ones that I typically find myself doing throughout every game in Fortnite. So obviously we want to get these down pat. Now in terms of speed, a lot of players will correlate having extremely fast and snappy movements with speed. However, that's not entirely the case. In fact, you guys can see when I edit, I kind of have a very smooth and consistent flow whenever I'm making any corner edits. Reason being is because this allows us to have a ton of efficiency, and honestly it doesn't slow down speed by much. Obviously when I'm in game, I won't have such consistent and smooth editing flow. However, by doing this on this edit course, again you guys can see with the consistent flow when it comes to editing, it allows me to obviously perfect my muscle memory. So when I do this in game, I'm so used to it and I'm not even thinking while I'm making the edits. I simply press my Y button to edit and then just make the edit instantaneously. Now when I'm pretty much done with all of those wall edits, I'll then make my way over to here. This kind of looks like a maze, but it's basically just 1 by 1 boxes put together that form like a big pyramid. Like there are so many 1 by 1 boxes, and the main part about this is you just run through them and make edits whichever way you like. You can do them in any direction, you can do them basically in an entire circle, you can circle around, you can do them in zigzags. Basically it's whatever you feel like doing, and I'll just run through these, try to do fast, smooth edits, whatever the case might be. Now this one's a lot difficult because obviously in game we're not finding ourselves in these constant 1 by 1 scenarios where there's like 100 1 by 1 boxes all pieced together. We definitely are in 1 by 1 boxes quite commonly in Fortnite, but not to the scale of this. So this one definitely gives you a lot of practice and definitely takes you out of your comfort zone in terms of editing efficiently and being quick on your feet. You have to make 3 corner edits, you have to make quick decisions on what direction you're going to be going, and then of course perform a fast and consistent edit immediately after. This is honestly probably one of the hardest parts of this map, so this is definitely one of my favorites. It just allows me to put myself in uncomfortable scenarios. Basically at any point in time, you can obviously break out and then start doing like 90s, in general just builds, and try to edit on top of that. That's typically what I do. And then whenever I make an error with my builds or edits, the best part about it is I fall right back down into this big pit of 1 by 1 boxes, and I can continue with my edits overall. So you're basically wasting no time, you're being extremely time efficient and practicing your edits consistently. Now that's the main part of this course, again, just these 1 by 1 boxes as well as the walls that I just shared with you guys. About 10 to 15 minutes of practice every single day, you guys will see a drastic improvement in your overall speed and efficiency when it comes to building. I literally guarantee that. And now for some other things that I know a lot of people are kind of confused about when it comes to editing. First is actually going to be the setting known as Edit Confirm on Release. This is a setting that Epic Games implemented in Fortnite probably about a month and a half ago, and it's an extremely controversial setting. A lot of players say say to use it, whereas a lot of players kind of go against it. However, my personal opinion and kind of professional outlook on it is that this setting is not the best in terms of speeding up your edits. If you're a beginner player in Fortnite and you can barely even make an edit at all, the confirm edit on release is probably going to be your best friend. It allows you to no longer have to press your confirm button. It's kind of like a very beginner way of editing in Fortnite. However, if you're past that beginner stage and you're like above average or slightly above average and you want to take your editing speed to the next level, then turn this setting off. It's only going to be a disadvantage and slow you down in the long run. By using keybinds that you're extremely comfortable with, like the ones that I'm using, you will actually be able to edit a lot faster than when using edit confirm on release. That's why I'm kind of going against that setting for today's video, or if you're just in general looking to speed up your edits in Fortnite. At a certain point, it goes from being a great setting to a setting that realistically slows you down a lot. So that's why I recommend you guys don't turn it on at all. That way you guys don't get used to it and have to find a way to break out of it when you want to take your editing speed and efficiency to the next level. Now the next setting is actually linear or exponential. This is one that a lot of pro players are constantly arguing and debating about. Now personally, I feel like the average Fortnite player, pretty much like 90% of everyone that watches my videos, I strongly recommend you guys use the default setting of exponential. Basically, this is what Fortnite's always been, so you guys won't have to get used to the linear settings. Now, linear settings, basically, it makes everything so much more quicker and harder to control. If you're an extremely pro player, like probably the top 1% of Fortnite players, then I definitely recommend you experiment with the linear settings, but for majority of everyone watching today's video, just stick on the exponential settings. I promise you, it's not worth switching over to linear and having a complete sense of no control in your overall movement and editing in Fortnite. Now, that's pretty much going to be it for today's video, guys. We covered everything from settings that you should be using, like sensitivity settings, as well as keybinds, warm up techniques and methods that you should be using every single time you hop on Fortnite, as well as the main editing course that allows you guys to pretty much improve your speed immediately and instantaneously. After about 10 to 15 minutes of practicing, your overall speed and efficiency should improve, if not double, and it's honestly again what I consider to be the main turning point in my overall editing speed and efficiency in Fortnite. And then lastly, we discussed some settings that I recommend you guys have on or off, and giving you guys my own professional outlook and opinion on both of those. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, a like would be beyond appreciated. And of course, on the contrary, if you genuinely disliked today's video, then by all means feel free to leave a dislike as well. Also, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. Nonetheless, my name is EndingGamertag. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.